Awesome. Here we go. Thank you, everybody, for another episode of the Unnormalized Podcast. This is your host, Frankie A. And today I'm joined with a very special guest that I'm really excited to sit down and talk to, Gary Wales, who is an actor, writer, producer, director, got a lot of projects coming up. So thanks for coming on, Gary. I really appreciate it. And
No
welcome to the
problem.
Unnormalized Podcast.
I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So Gary, let's start with getting to know a little bit about Gary. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from, your family, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So I was born in Falkirk in Scotland. I was born on the 29th of September 1995, so I'm a 95 baby. Woohoo!
Yeah.
It's a really good year. It's a really good year. But yes, I was born in Falkirk, Scotland, and I grew up in a small town called Bo'ness, which is my hometown, which isn't too far away from Falkirk and not too far away from the capital, Edinburgh. So I've been living here since I was about 12 years old, roughly. And
Okay.
then we moved to Northern Ireland. My mum had met an Irish guy, and we then moved as a family. Obviously, I had no say, I was young still. So we moved as a family, and to be honest, that was probably one of the best moves that we probably did do, because that's where my career really enhanced in Northern Ireland. And yeah, we were there for 10 years and came back here in 2017. So yeah, it's been quite a jump around the UK kind of Ireland kind of section, but yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Awesome, awesome. Actually, my wife is Irish, so she's from well, her family's from County Mayo.
County
Uh,
Mayo.
yep. So,
Very good.
yeah, awesome. So, Gary, talk to me about here at the Unnormalized Podcast, I like to talk to people about doing things outside of the box. So that's
Okay.
what kind of the concept of unnormalized is. Um, Not following the conventional paths in life.
Okay.
And so, when did you realize that acting was something that you wanted to pursue? What was when you were younger, what was the thing that kind of said, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to follow my dreams. I want to follow my passion and
Mhm.
not go like a 9 to 5 route.
Right. Well, to be honest, I think I was around 6 years old or so. And my mum put me into community theatre and got on stage along with like school pantomimes and the Christmas nativity plays and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just loved the whole concept of putting on a costume and having that light on me and having that whole stage presence of people looking at me, just like watching me perform and do my thing. And it just kind of grew on me. And once obviously we moved to Ireland and whatnot, it just really blew up for me, because I mean, obviously going into a new high school, a new country, stuff like that. Um, and I get into the high school. My first performance was actually in high school in Ireland, whenever I moved over there, and that was of Oliver. Um, so I had no intention to be in Oliver whatsoever. This is quite a funny story, actually. No intention to be in Oliver whatsoever. So I moved to Ireland. I joined high school. I was like halfway through first grade, or whatever first year we call it. And
Hmm.
so halfway through first year, and they're holding auditions for Oliver. No intention whatsoever. I did not even want to audition. Nothing whatsoever. So I joined the choir instead, and the choir was automatically part of the production, being the ensemble. I was okay with that. But my music teacher slash drama teacher, Miss Freeburn, she had her eye on me the whole entire time, like the whole entire time, and she obviously knew that I had a gift. And it was like the very last day before the summer holiday broke, and I was down on the football court, and so she got one of the students to come down and say, and to get me to go back up to the classroom. So I went back up to the classroom and I stood at her desk. She was sitting there, and she knelt down and she pulled out a folder and she started highlighting lines. And I was like, "What is this?" And she was like, "Well, I know how enthusiastic you are about your singing and stuff like that. and I want to give you the role of Oliver. So then I'm just like, hang on, but I didn't even audition. She was like, you didn't have to audition. I already knew, I already
You are,
seen what you can deliver.
she already gave you the audition.
Right, and I was just like blown away because I mean Oliver Twist being a huge like massive
Yeah.
production and movie, and then to obviously be offered that role with no audition whatsoever, it baffled me completely. Um, and then later on after that was done, we done a few performances of that over a few nights and stuff like that. We still have the recording. There's videos on YouTube of me live on stage singing "Where's Love" from Oliver and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. It's good to keep those memories, so I'm glad that they did manage to record the full stage production whilst I was in it. And I was 12 years old at the time, roughly. It was in 2008.
Wow.
So it was a long time ago. But then after that production, then that's something I really did want to focus on it. So then I found a stage school, and then I went on tour with the stage school. We done national tours we done huge tours across Northern Ireland, and like it was awesome. We done a show called Black 47, which was based on the Irish famine, and it was an incredible like production, like all completely made from the countries of Ireland, from the countryside, because this stage school was in the complete middle of nowhere. Like you would not even imagine it. And I mean down this country road, and you've got a stage school, and you're just like, wow, okay, awesome. There's cows everywhere, there's sheep everywhere, there's a river right beside it, and I'm just like, is this it? Like, so we go in, and Black 47 comes along. We do a national tour, and we do a whole tour. It was 2012. We actually done that, and we performed the whole of Northern Ireland, covering the largest theatre in Northern Ireland, which was the Waterfront, and also the Lyric Theatre in Belfast.
Wow.
Which was a fantastic opportunity to be part of the Lyric Theatre, and obviously having the Waterfront as well, which was pretty intense for sure. But yeah, Black 47 came along, and then I'd done a few more productions with a stage school. I was still in high school at the time, still went to high school every day. My childhood wasn't really, it wasn't damaged as much compared to other artists and stuff out there. Like Michael Jackson, who didn't have a childhood whatsoever,
Yeah.
you know. Or
Yeah.
you get those child actors that come in at a very young age, and they're like forced to do their work on set. Like it's just, I didn't do that. I went to school. I wanted to be around other people, so I still managed to figure out a way on how to go to school, come home, go to stage school. You know, like I'm doing maybe 12, 13, 14, 15 hours of school the whole entire every day, you know. And I'll do whatever I can to obviously make my talent a bit better, you know. But yeah, after Black 47, after those productions and stuff like that, still in high school, and then Grease came along, and Grease was actually happening in the last year. I left high school in 2012 and went on to college, and Grease came along, so I auditioned for Danny, which is the main role, and I didn't get it, unfortunately. But she offered me Kaneki, which is probably one of the best characters that I got to play, because I got to perform in the original. Kaneki doesn't perform Grease Lightning. It's Danny that performs it. But in the stage show, Kaneki performs it. It's not Danny that performs it. So I got to perform Grease Lightning in the whole entire production. That was pretty epic. We got the recordings of that. There's also a video on YouTube of me doing Grease Lightning. You see me coming out in this car that we built and everything on stage, beeping the horn, and you see me getting up and doing the Grease Lightning dance and all that on top of the car. Like, it's pretty cool.
Well, I definitely am gonna have to check that out and have everybody who's watching and listening check out. Grease is like a classic. I love Grease. I've seen the movie. I've seen productions of it. Kaneki is one of my favorite characters in Grease. So I love it. You know, my wife and I always
back, the leather jacket, everything.
Such a classic role, and I definitely will check out all the tattoos with you, doing Grease Lightning. One of my favorite parts of Grease is that whole scene doing Grease Lightning. So
Right.
I definitely will check it out. But you know what? That's like commendable, Gary. That like you said, most actors at your age getting into the scene are having to sacrifice their childhood and the whole school experience. And
Right.
I think that being able to having to manage both of those things
Mhm.
at a young age is very commendable
For
because
sure.
most people have to choose. They're not able to find the balance between having that normal childhood and pursuing such an intense industry like
Mhm.
going into acting and
Yeah.
stage. And a lot of people don't realize that theater and stage work is very grueling.
So much work. I
Yes.
remember Oliver. Oh Lord. Oliver was tough. Like, I mean, 8 months of full on rehearsing. And I mean, we had to go into school on a Sunday and a Saturday just to rehearse. Like, I was, I remember it was me and the girl that played Nancy and Kaneki, or Fagin, and the Artford Dodger and stuff like that. We, even after rehearsals during the school hours, we still physically went down with our music teacher down to a completely different location of Ireland to meet up with a singing coach to maximize our voices. And it was like, I mean, we're not getting home until like 9, 10 o'clock. I'm a
Uh,
12-year-old and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
getting
yeah.
home at 10, 11 o'clock at night with my school. Like,
Hmm.
that's my
That's
life.
a lot.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. And eight months of just full on rehearsing. 8 o'clock starts in the morning and not finish until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, like nearly every single day. And it was just, to be honest, I wasn't too sure on what I was going to come into, but hey, it was an experience. I loved it. Went and done Greece as well with the school, and I just loved that as well. I really did.
And yeah, that was just actually grooming you for things to come in the future.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So how did your you know, most families, parents, things of that nature, they always want their kid to be in a industry or a field where, of course, there is security and things like that. So, how did your family respond to you saying, I'm doing these, plays and stage work, and I kind of want to do this, as
Yeah.
not just something on the side that I have an interest in or like a hobby, quote
Mhm.
unquote. How did your family react to you saying like, I want to do this as a career, as a profession? Were they supportive? How did they respond to
Yeah.
that?
Well, I mean, yeah, they were completely supportive, like completely. They would buy tickets to every single thing. But one thing that my family were quite worried about was obviously being at a young age and whatnot, being in school, and obviously being from a different country, living in
Good.
Ireland. I got bullied quite a lot in my high school years, quite a lot actually. Because I remember whenever I started doing Oliver, obviously I would like during rehearsals and stuff like that. It would be during the school years. All my other classmates there in class doing their written work and whatnot whilst I'm on stage performing, But
Yeah.
I've got the orange makeup, stage makeup on, and then dinner bell goes. I'm going into the canteen covered in makeup, and everybody's like laughing at me. But
Mm.
I mean, I'm me getting bullied and stuff like that. My family, my family were scared for me because they knew exactly what I'd went through. I grew up with ADHD, unfortunately,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
people would try and trigger me because they would try and trigger me to make me kick off because they
Yeah.
thought it was funny.
Get a reaction out of you.
Right, so they wanted to get a reaction out of me, and to be honest, I've done some of the most stupidest things as a child. Having ADHD, I caused quite a lot of people harm. Um, But I'm not gonna blame myself for that. I'm gonna blame the ADHD because I'm not a harmful person.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did silly things, but I mean, who doesn't at young ages, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
And
like,
just a little thing about me that I actually do have ADHD myself.
huh,
I my background is in social work. So I deal with a lot of people who have ADHD,
Right.
other mental health diagnoses, things, behavioral disorders, things like that. So,
Mhm.
it can be a challenge, especially at a
For
young
sure.
age.
For sure.
Being in not only in growing up in school, because that has challenges within itself, but then on top of it, being kind of in a
And
realm that
yeah.
is not the normal thing that other kids are doing.
Right.
And like you said, coming into situation where the kids are doing schoolwork and things of that nature, and you're kind of doing that, but you're also like getting pulled out of class and things like that
Right.
to work on production stuff. So
Right.
I understand what that could bring
Yeah.
in a social setting in school. So yeah, no, I understand and what that's like,
Hmm.
growing up with something like that and having to deal with social interactions with other students and kids your age and your peers.
Right.
So I can sympathize or
You
empathize
can
with
relate to that.
having that challenge.
Right. But obviously, me being very productive with it was very hard for me to stay still. I couldn't focus in class, but my only happy time is whenever I was doing production work. That was my only happy time because I knew that I was on stage. I got to sit down on that chair and get makeup put on me, I would get
Yeah.
my hair fixed and all that kind of stuff. I loved that. I didn't, I mean, yes, I was a little arse. I was a little bastard whenever I was young. I mean, who wasn't? But I was like
Exactly.
bad, bad. I was bad. Like I was, ooh, like people still tell me to this day that I used to bite people. I used to bite people whenever I was younger. So I mean, I've got Dracula teeth. Um, but like it's just like I think the entertainment, like obviously the production work in the entertainment industry, like has helped me in a way because obviously having diagnosed with ADHD from a very young age, to I mean I'm 23 coming on 24 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um, the when I turned, it was roughly I was about 15, 16. There were some days that I would forget to take my medication, and some
Hmm.
days I would take it. But the days that I wouldn't take my medication would be the days that I'm calmer. But the days that I do take the medication, it would bounce the other way and keep me a bit hyper a little bit. So then, whenever I was 18, obviously seeing the family doctor and stuff like that, I told him I was like, I'm 18 now. I don't want to take medication anymore. I've been taking it since I was 6. I'm now 18. That's it. I'm done. And since then, this is me now. So it just shows that obviously, yes, you may be going through a stressful childhood with ADHD and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that anybody cannot change their life around. But if you focus on something that you love and you really focus on it, and you can work with your medication, work with what you love, and also ignore whatever else is going on in the background, like those people that are trying to aggravate you, then
Hmm.
you will slowly move into what becomes a better person. I'm not saying
Yes.
that you are going to be that you aren't or were a better person, but you would turn into a very respectful and very professional person. Like me, having like talking to industry people at 13, 14 years old, and
Yeah.
people like looking at me as 15, 16 years old, and they're saying like, "How do you even know what that word means?" I was like, "I'm just professional. I'm just me, like
Yeah.
I've been doing it since a young age, and I mean what 16, 17, walking around with a blazer, and hey, I'm talking to professionals all the time, talking to some of the biggest people in the world, and they wouldn't even realize that I'm 16. They'd be thinking I'm 20 something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people now think that I'm like 28, 29, like I'm like, no, I'm only 23, and they're like, huh? Like it's just no, yeah.
Well,
So
you know what? That builds your character. That
right,
builds your, who Gary is. It defines you as, that's okay. What I tell people is when you have any type of like diagnosis, mental, behavior health, whatever it is, even medical, those are things that it doesn't define you. You're somebody living with
right,
ADHD, but you are not ADHD.
Right.
And I think when people can um, grasp that concept and they don't have to put themselves in a box or a label,
Yeah.
it allows them to just manage with things like that,
Right.
not define
People
you. Not define
people do go over the top, like saying, "Oh, I've got ADHD. You should respect me more." Stuff like that. No, no. You
you. Yeah,
you focus on something that you love. You work with your medication. Just ignore whatever else is happening in the background. You'll be fine.
yeah,
I mean, if I can do it, they can do it. You know, like
yeah. And that's a testament to your determination that with you were channeling all that stuff that was coming from having ADHD and focusing it on something that you
right,
really had passion for, and you felt that you could move with it and
right,
deal with it. And it probably lent a lot to the characters that you were playing and the roles that you were playing.
for sure,
And when you can focus and channel it like that, you can use it as a tool.
right.
You know, yeah, exactly. Um, so what was the you talked about doing stuff like Oliver and Grease.
Mhm.
What was your big break into the industry?
Um, well, Game of Thrones came along, obviously. For anybody that doesn't know, I was in Game of Thrones. I played Helter. That was a fantastic experience. Long hours, but fantastic experience.
Hmm.
Um, Great to work with a lot of the people that obviously I didn't imagine working with. Obviously,
Yeah.
coming from a very small town to a different country to being in the biggest TV show in the world, and obviously
Yeah.
being in that country where it's filmed at that right time was just perfect for me. So yeah, that came along. That kind of blew me up a little bit, which was awesome. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
came along. But then obviously I had my other productions like Too Late, which is my own. That's based on anti-bullying and suicide.
Hmm.
I created that one in two. Well, started creating it in 2013, and then 2014 came along. We filmed it and released it 27th of September 2014. It's now on Amazon Prime. So if you guys want to watch it, you can. Um, and then I moved into Too Late was quite a tough character for me. Obviously going through bullying and whatnot as well. But uh, it's a story that needs to be told for sure, and
Sure. Yeah.
it's very on point facts as well. Not on my life, but on someone else's life out there. Um, and then you've got Love Bites, which is the vampire comedy that I've done as well. That's not on Amazon Prime, but it's on YouTube, I believe. And then you've got there's just so many. Two of my recent productions.
Hmm.
You've got Round, you've got Little to Lose. They just came on Amazon Prime recently. I just finished filming. Obviously, the deal. The deal was pretty good because it was like an international hitman kind of thing, and had
Yeah.
like obviously being like the only international person in the production, being Scottish, having that like very strong Scottish accent in the movie, being in Oklahoma and just in the country nowhere, to having the Scottish accent and with a gun in my hand, like it was
Yeah.
just yeah, and obviously I had a bit of comedy to that character as well, me being me, like but
So
yeah.
when is the deal? When are we going to be able to see the deal? Is it out yet or?
No, it's not out just yet. As of now, I believe they are still finishing off little filming parts. I'm completely done. Like I've done all
Okay.
whatever I had to do. But they're just finishing off little things. And then I believe they are trying to aim for June, July next year.
Okay.
Hopefully they do because I will be in the area at the time for the world premiere. But I'm just waiting on
Well,
that date because they need to obviously. I, I know what date I'm going to be there, but
hmm.
are they going to be able to get me like are they going to be able to do that world premiere at the time that I'm going to be there? Because if not, I I mean I don't want to be wasting money coming over twice, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
like if it's a week after I leave, like I don't fancy jumping back into my time zone then back over to that time zone and doing all those flights again. It's a lot of work. Too many
Yeah,
flights.
it's a lot of like logistics that come into play with everything, timing, where you are and where the premiere is. Um,
Exactly.
so what how like you're not just an actor, okay?
No.
A lot of people, you guys have to check Gary's um, list of everything that he does because he's not only an actor, he's a writer, he's a producer, he's a director. You did have Vikander, correct?
Wakanda.
Is Vikander and Rage are some of the productions that you kind of put together. So how is that like? How is it going from being an actor to then going kind of like behind the scenes of everything?
To be honest, it's very it's difficult, especially being an actor in the production and also trying to
Yeah.
direct and do everything else at the same time. It's very difficult, but hey, if Johnny Depp can do it, if Leonardo DiCaprio can do it, I can do it. Johnny Depp being one of my most favorite actors in the world, he's just
Well,
incredible. Like I would do anything
yeah.
to get in a scene or just a 30-second video with him. Like I do not care as long as I get that throughout my
Yeah.
lifetime. I'll be good. But if they can do it, I can do it. And I mean, hey, I've already done it. I've done Too Late. Vikander, that is a work in progress. Nothing has been filmed. Nothing is like scripts are still getting wrote right now. But I'm aiming. I can't remember what that film was called or the TV show, The Killing, I believe, the Canadian one.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, but
Okay.
it's like it's a twist between that and like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with
Awesome.
so like
I'm
I'm
a
that that's
huge
that
horror fan. I'm a huge horror fan.
yeah.
So that definitely is something I'm gonna check out. It sounds like awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, so you've got the Killing, then you've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Put that together, and there you've got the Vikander, and you're just like, what is that? What's going to happen here? And
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
played Vikander. I'm going to
Nice.
proclaim Vikander. So
Awesome.
Patrick Vikander is a made-up character that I've made, and he's a serial killer. And he does. I'll tell you a little bit about it. He does a weird kind of thing when he kills people. He does go for young teenage girls. He sexually assaults them and then kills them. But before he kills them, he has a mask on,
Mm.
his own mask, and he does a dance around their body before he kills.
Oh
And
my
when
God.
he kills, he leaves one mark on their body, and that is how the detectives and everything figure out that this is his killings. But he leaves a mark from her chest right down to her belly button, and that is the only mark that
That's
relates back
that's
to
his
Vikander.
that's his kind of signature
His
to the
signature.
actual crime.
Right, exactly. So that's
Oh
his
my God.
signature.
This is you don't even understand. This is like so up my alley. I actually work in forensic psychology,
Right.
so I'm fascinated. Kind of weird, but I'm fascinated by how the mind kind of goes to that
I
place.
mean, look at Stephen
And
King. King,
yeah, hmm
Stephen King coming out with It, The Shining, all
yeah,
these classics, and I mean, like, yeah, he's went through a difficult young age as well. He went through a lot of drugs and stuff like that. But those, like, I'm not saying that drugs are good for you kids, but like drugs, like, kind of push that creative mind in a way. And I think that's one of the things with the entertainment industry in today's age that a lot of artists and stuff do take drugs, um, but in some way it might help their creative mind push. I don't
I
know how
no
to.
no no. I totally agree with you. I mean, well, like I'm not promoting promoting
Right,
anybody out
I'm
there.
not promoting whatsoever.
Yeah, the young the young people who may be listening, but it does expand the mind into thinking of that out of the box kind of
Right,
mentality. It exposes
it
or you know
exposes things that aren't usually there.
yeah yeah
Like it's just,
exactly.
I mean, I've never touched drugs. I've never even attempted to touch drugs. I would never touch them because I know my manager would rip my head off if I did, and even my mum would rip my head off. So
Yeah,
no, I'm good.
that's even worse than the manager.
Right, and she's from the Bronx and she's small. Like, I ain't dealing with
She's
her.
from the wait. Did you say she's from the Bronx?
From the Bronx.
Get out of here.
Uh-huh.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. So mom would definitely whoop your ass if she found out that you were doing anything like that.
Mom's full-bred Scottish. I
Whoop
don't
your
know. She'll throw a sheep at me. She'll throw a cow or a sheep at me. I don't know. She'll damage me.
So like I'm like fascinated by that because you're 23 years old,
Mhm.
okay? You've kind of started making your way into acting, with like things like Game of Thrones and
Correct.
the deal. So like what is the process for you, Gary, when you're sitting down to now I can identify with putting everything that you have into a project. When you're a writer, you're an actor, you're producing, directing. Um, what is the process like? How do you or do you how do you come up with a lot of these concepts? Or like you're talking about things like um, you did some stuff with like surrounding like mental health. Is it and projects like Vikander where it's something totally probably outside of who you are
Yeah.
as a person. So like that's a lot of creative juice that you're putting into it. So what is that process like?
The process is very long. It is exhausting. It takes a while, especially coming up with a completely brand new idea, and you obviously need to watch just in case for copyright issues. I make
Sure.
sure that whatever I'm thinking about, I don't bounce off anything else. Um, but to be honest, like a lot of my ideas and stuff like that come from TV shows, but I twist it to the point where I'm happy with it. And if I can't find anything online or anything about it, then I'm completely for it and I'm writing it and I'm ready to go. You know, Rage is another production that I'm working on and that I also created. We actually start filming that very soon as well. I played the main role as Alex. Um, Unfortunately, I killed my son in the short film. I also killed my girlfriend, but I'm a druggie and an alcoholic and stuff like that. It is quite a drastic ending for Alex, but you'll have to watch and obviously find out what happens to Alex at the end.
I mean, like your projects are so intriguing. I mean, the is like where do you see yourself? Are you more like it seems like a lot of the stuff that you have is coming up is like more of the like horror based or like a thriller kind
Yeah.
of genre. Is that something you mentioned Stephen King? Is that kind of where you lay, or is it like where do the concepts come up out of? Is it just something that inspires you from you said watching TV shows and kind of
Yeah.
getting, inspired from there. Is that a genre where you feel comfortable in? Is it where you thrive? Um,
I mean,
how do you see yourself as a writer, director, producer?
well, I mean, at a young age, I watched Scream, stuff like that, like Halloween, Michael Myers, and all that classics. Oh, and there's a new Halloween coming out as well.
I know.
There's a
I'm
new one.
so looking forward to
I'm
that.
excited. He's going to come out of those flames like in the last movie. He's going to come out of that house and he's going to be like bam and just come out. Like he's ready to kill again. But I don't know, like just thriller and horror movies. It's something that I've always had an interest in. Um, Murdering and stuff. It's not really, but I do love crime like shows and stuff like that, like NCIS, CSI, all that stuff. But like more like the killing, like the more thriller, um, killing kind of things. It just intrigues me so much, like
Yeah,
how
right.
these
I
people
don't
can
know.
come up with the
I
most
don't know
creative
what that.
things.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about us that we find
Right?
that
It's like
fascinating, but
people are
it
looking at us and
is.
they're like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need some help?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. That's just my mind speaking. I'm just writing it down. I'm not physically doing it, but I'm just writing it down. You know?"
Yeah. It's
But
just something. It's something about and what I do is what's very intriguing during my day job is talking to people about like how the. It's very interesting to see how the mind works. And you know, you see this stuff on TV, but when you see it in real life, it's even more intriguing because you have
right,
the person there, and a lot of the times the people are very willing to share that and how the mind works and take you
right,
through that process and take you through that journey. So it's very, I can see there's a lot of content that could come out of just working with the human mind.
yeah.
So
I mean, I've got
I
so
find
many
it
ideas.
fascinating.
I've got so many ideas ready. Like,
Uh,
I'm just trying not to say as many as I possibly can, especially whenever it comes to media and stuff. Because unfortunately, I have had my issues with media, but that's okay. That's fine. I've learned. We all learn. But that's okay. It's a learning curve, and like a lot of the ideas that I come up with is just completely out of this world. And I mean, like I let my friends and stuff read the script, and they're like, "I want to see it. I don't want to read it. I want to see it."
yeah,
Because they read like the first 2 pages, and they're just like, "Where is it? I need to see
yeah.
this."
And
Um,
they're all
it's a long process. It's a long process, but hey,
so like how do you manage juggling all this stuff, because on top of all the production stuff that you're doing, I'm assuming that you're auditioning for other roles and in stuff like that. So
yeah.
how,
Um,
like how do you find time to manage work, because working on your own individual projects I'm sure is like friggin' time consuming.
yeah.
So how do you manage finding the time to even, like, when your manager calls and says, here's a role that I think that you would be good for. How do you manage all that?
Um, I guess I just take every day as it comes. Every
No,
foot,
no sleep.
um,
I bet you don't get any sleep.
I do sleep. I do sleep. And I mean, there is one thing that nobody knows, and I'm willing to say this first on the show here.
Thank you.
Um, but I'm not only just an actor and all that kind of stuff. I don't only do all that. I also have a day job.
Really?
I also have a day job, and I'm a manager at Domino's Pizza.
Get out of here. No, you're lying to me right now.
Nope,
Listen,
I'm a
there's
manager at Domino's Pizza.
there is nothing wrong with that, brother. I totally respect that. You have to hustle nowadays, and it's all about the grind and the hustle. So
Exactly.
I it makes me like really appreciate you even more, because not only are you pursuing the bright lights, big city type of stuff. You're a down to earth guy, and you know what it is to hustle a 9 to 5.
Exactly.
I respect that. Totally respect
Appreciate
it.
that. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like a lot of people, especially whenever I was younger and stuff like that, they say don't grow up and be a big head and stuff like that. And I've always told myself I'll probably never be a big head, have a big head whatsoever. I'm a person that just wants to settle back, go out, do what I love to do, which is the entertainment industry, and also just work a normal day-to-day job. Before Domino's, I was working at Subway. Before Subway, I've worked in a call center. Before that, I was working in an Indian restaurant. I mean, like I've done quite a lot of things, and then before that, I was working in a factory. Like I've done so many things and so many day jobs, and I got to experience all these different things. And now that I'm settled at Domino's now, I feel human. Like I
Yeah,
just feel like a normal person. And people, yes, people notice me and stuff like that in the store and whatnot. But they notice me and they're like, "Hey Gary, how's your day going so far?" It's not, "Oh my God, like, can I get a picture?" No,
yeah,
like people respect that I'm working and I'm just living life the way I want to live it, and people respect that, which is completely awesome. Um, I'm not going to tell you which store because there's not many stores, but yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, as a manager, I jump around different stores, so yeah. Good luck,
I
guys, on trying to
totally,
find me because you won't.
I totally respect that. It's a lot of work when you have a passion, and
Right,
you also are holding down, trying to be grounded and
right,
centered in being a person, outside of being, Gary who's on Game of Thrones or The Deal, or
right,
the normal everyday experience lends to probably why you're so successful in a lot of the projects that you're doing, because you're bringing that real, authentic, human
yeah,
to the projects that always keeping a base with reality and what's going on with the everyday human
for
existence.
sure.
I think is something that a lot of people in your industry don't have,
Right.
um, because they lose touch with it. And
Hmm.
I really commend you, Gary, on just staying like a real dude, like in, and I think that's probably, you know, where when your projects do come out, people are going to connect to that because they
Yeah.
can sense that authenticity,
Hmm.
in the work. So,
I mean,
uh,
I'm a proud Christian. I'm a worshiper, and I love God and whatnot, and like just living life as it comes, and working my day job, coming home, doing, sending out my emails, taking on like interviews like this, and I'm going out to auditions, and I'm dealing with PR and flying to different countries to film new things, and like I mean, yeah, it's very exhausting. Don't get me wrong, but hey, if you keep your mind focused, you will focus on the rest of your life. Like it's just it
everything falls into place.
keeps me focused on everything, knowing that I'm working on a own day job. Keep your head there. Once you get out of work, also you're in that kind of zone still. Don't go to social media and be like, okay, somebody's just sent me a grand. Okay, doesn't matter. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm still focused. I was like, okay, did I do that at work? Did I do this at work? That like I'm still coming home at night, and I'm like, did I do that at work? Did I remember that? And then there's
Mm.
an email popping up, and I'm like, entertainment. I'm like, no, 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 wait, wait. I need to focus on work first. I'm not finished yet.
Yeah. And
So
it's a testament to who you are, Gary, that you can have all those balls in the air and juggle them at the same time.
exactly,
That,
and I mean, everybody's multitask. Like
yeah.
everybody can multitask. Everybody can do whatever they wish to do. If it inspires them, if it keeps them happy, then hey, just do it. I know it's going to be. I mean, I know there's 24 hours in the day. There's not. It's not long whatsoever. But hey, if I can work 18, 20 hours, maybe fly across the world and take 24 plus hours sometimes, then I mean anybody can do it. You know what I mean?
When, they say when you love what you do, um, going to work every day is not going to work.
Right.
And that's what, the whole premise of my show is talking to people like you, because there are people out there who, are in a position where they're maybe at a crossroads and saying to themselves, you know, um, I have this passion. Should I pursue it? What comes with it? What are the challenges? So speaking to someone like you who's involved with a lot, also maintaining like normal life every day, working, a 9 to 5, um, it's a good message to send to people,
Right.
especially, you were talking about growing up and being bullied and all that, and that's getting such, a spotlight right now, that even through that whole situation, you were able to kind of rise above it,
Yeah.
and kind of do something with your life, and
Yeah.
that is, what you want to do, what's in your heart, what's your
Right.
passion. I love talking to people who are so passionate. I can see it in you that you're very passionate about the things that you do,
For sure.
and I can tell that you, um, put 100% of yourself into it.
For sure. I mean, like to be honest, like I've like since I've been bullied and getting into the entertainment industry, I started obviously social media and whatnot, and I just I mean, yes, it's going to take time, but I started to become really, really positive. Then I became a Christian, and like everything was just awesome for me. And I mean, yeah, I was still working my daily jobs and stuff like that. And I still get people to this day coming to me saying, for years, I've been watching you on social media, and every day you make me smile, you make me happy. I mean, someone just sent me a letter last night, and I read it last night. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm physically going to sit in front of a camera, record myself reading that letter, because that letter put me to tears, and it just felt like a 13 reasons why like moment. It just like
Yeah.
I'm just reading this letter and just reading what they've went through, and them telling me what I've done to their life that's made them a better person, and what's made them who they are today. I mean, it's incredible to see people change just from my actions that I take.
Hmm.
But it just shows like you don't have like you can still work on your passion and still work on your day-to-day job, I mean, and still be happy. If I mean, I'm going back to the quote that I always say is, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
If you can do it, I can do it. Anybody can do whatever they set their mind to. And obviously, if you're doing lots of different things every single day, that's awesome. You're keeping your brain focused, you're keeping yourself energized. Yes, it's very tiring. It can be very upsetting, exhausting, and frustrating and depressing sometimes. But hey, once you get home, lay in your bed, close your eyes, go to sleep. Next day, get up, do it again.
Yep.
It's
And
clockwork.
and and I thank you, Gary, as somebody who has had challenges. Part of what I do is I'm actually I have tons of like certifications in behavior mental health, but
Mm,
I started out as what's called a peer support specialist.
right.
So I have like real life as well as like clinical experience,
Mm,
and it's because of people like you who are raising awareness to issues like bullying, like suicide awareness, and things like that. That you're delivering a message that's really going to reach people. You're a
yeah.
young guy, 23 years old. You have a voice that people are connecting to, and I thank you on behalf of everybody out there who may be going through challenges, to that you're spreading the message that awareness is key, advocacy is key, and that's why
Yeah.
you get letters like you did yesterday, is because you're reaching people who don't maybe necessarily have a voice for themselves,
Right.
and that's a great burden. But I think just from speaking to you today that you are the person to kind of carry that burden or carry that load, and deliver a message to everybody out there that these things are out there and they're challenges, but you can get over them, and there's a way to approach things and to spread the message that
Right.
you're not the only one out there that's kind of going through that. And I think people need to hear your voice and hear your message. So, like, I really genuinely thank you for that. For somebody who works in the business of working with people who are in recovering from things like like bullying and suicide attempts and challenges like that. I
Mhm.
really commend you. I that's wholeheartedly genuine. That I do really appreciate that
Yeah, I
you're
appreciate.
taking your avenue, and you understand that comes with an opportunity to have a platform
Right.
for things and for young people especially. So I really love that, Gary. It's
I
that's
appreciate that.
awesome
Thank you.
to hear.
I appreciate that. And one other thing, like I think fans love me because obviously I respond to everybody. Everybody's human at the end of the day. I don't care if I've got 5,000 messages sitting there. I will sit and take an hour out of my time every single day, and I will sit there and respond to every single one of them. If there's a comment on my video, if there's a comment on my photo, I'm going to respond. I mean, I'll respond, like, even if they're complimenting me, I'll respond thank you. Or if they're asking me a question, I will respond with an answer. And that's always something that I've really focused on. I'm trying to keep my focus on my fans, knowing that the only way that they're going to stay there and keep interacting with me is if I interact with them.
Sure,
Um,
yeah.
they're human beings. I mean, yeah, you've got people like, I don't know, like Justin Bieber and stuff like that, who have millions of notifications coming into their devices every day. But hey, it's okay to come out your day and to try and get through as many as you possibly can.
Keep that connection with your fans.
Right, exactly. Keep that connection there, and they will grow on you and love you even more. And I mean, I appreciate all my fans so much. They inspire me to keep pushing and keep obviously releasing more work for them.
Yeah.
And obviously, I also like to get my fans like involved with a lot of my things as well, because I like to do like giveaways of merch and signed
Mhm.
photos and stuff like that. Like I want to do them. I'm thinking of ideas as they come along that I'm looking to maybe give away a signed like poster from the new movie or whatever, like
Awesome.
posters that haven't been released, or just anything. Like I just want to make sure that my fans that are involved with me as much as they possibly can. I know they're not there in person, but hey, if I can do it over social media, and without social media, I would not get to meet the people that I meet today. Um,
I mean,
I'm
that's
not
an awesome thing. A lot of people, um, they they diss social media. I love social media. I think it's a great way for people to
great
connect.
message.
And I have to say, everybody out there that's listening, Gary is 100% um, truthful when he says that he responds to people, because that's how I reached out to Gary. I love, of course, Game of Thrones, so I was doing some research. I stumbled upon Gary, and I was like, love the work that he was putting out. I did some research, saw that he was an actor, writer, producer, director of his own stuff, and I really respect that. And that as a fan, and as a new fan of Gary's, that makes me want to buy into who Gary is. So when Gary puts out a piece of work, I know what's behind it now,
Right.
and all the hard work and the blood, sweat, and tears that he puts into it. So when he says that he does reach out to people and respond, he does, because that's how we connected. And I'm glad that he does stay connected with his fans, because to me that's very important. A fan wants
For sure.
to feel like they're part of your journey,
For sure.
and so I do really appreciate that.
No
And
problem.
I'm building a studio, Gary. So if you have any of those posters you want to send over to me, definitely send them over, and I'll put them right in
Sounds
my
good.
studio.
Sounds good. I'll sign them for you.
Awesome. You that would rock. I would really, really, really love that. So Gary, let's tell before I let you go, tell everybody out there, we talked about the deal and Rage. What are some of the projects that you have coming out?
Well, obviously you've got the deal that's coming out next year at some point, hopefully. Rage. Um, I really want to try and get that out this year. I mean, I know there's only a couple more months left. It's going to be very difficult, but hey, if I can do it, awesome stuff.
Mhm.
As it does evolve a lot of alcohol and a lot of drugs, and obviously coming up to like New Year and that time of the Christmas and stuff like that, it's very, very strong in people's families that has a lot of issues, especially that time of the year. So it would be great to get that out there. Um, if not, then I'll get it out next year for sure. It's going to be another short film. I love short films. I love working on them. And they're just so catchy and just like boom, like 7 minutes of your time during the day, you just watch something. You're like, that was an hour and a half.
Yeah,
That's what it feels like, and that's what I
impactful.
that yeah, exactly. That's what I aim for in my short films. Too Late originally was so much longer than it is. It's 17 minutes and 30, but it was like 40 odd minutes, and I was like, I can't watch any more of that. It's too depressing. I'm done. I was like, cut it right down. So that's what I've done, and it's perfect now. Um, but yeah, you've got Rage coming out. You've got the deal coming out. Um, and there is one project that I am writing at the moment, that I haven't really talked about that much. Um, but it's one of my own, and it's going to be my very first feature movie that I'm creating. Um,
Awesome.
it's called Stan. And Stan, if anybody likes a good thriller, a good action movie, Stan is a Scottish boxer who makes his way to America to take on the heavyweight championship. and takes in the footsteps of obviously Rocky and Creed and all that kind of stuff. But you've got the whole Scottish background there of him fighting over here, and then obviously moving over to America to take on the heavyweight championship, to obviously opening his mouth at the wrong time to the media towards the heavyweight champion currently, to his wife getting assassinated by his men, and it gets really like, because I mean you look at Rocky and you get Adrian who dies of cancer and stuff like that, but in this one you've got the opponent who gets his men to kill his wife after the birth of Stan's son.
I love it.
That's, and I play Stan, so like my wife will be getting killed in Stan, and I get super angry, and my son Casper is just newly born, and I mean that gives me the excuse for a sequel after that. Obviously, Casper's seeing his dad fight him and growing up, and there's a sequel, and then his dad maybe gets killed, and like
there's so many ways that you can go with it.
I
love it. I love it. I love it. I think that it's going to be great. I love your mindset. I love the ideas and the concepts of your projects. I think there's something that people would love to watch, and
Right.
I think that you're going to have a very, very, very long and successful career doing what you do. I'm a total fan of what you're doing. We're going to check out all your stuff, and hopefully when you have time you can come back and tell us about some of the projects that you have coming on.
I'm coming to New York. I'll be back in New York next year.
You gotta then come. If you're in the New York area, you gotta come. Maybe if you have some time to see what the Jersey Shore looks like.
Sounds good. Hey, I always fly into EWR New York, so that's close by.
You say the word when you're in town, and we'll definitely hook up, and I'll show you around what the Jersey Shore is like, and make sure that you get treated with the VIP status that you deserve.
I appreciate that. I completely. I don't believe in any of that VIP like celebrity stuff. I really don't. But hey, I'm just Gary. I'm just lovable Gary. Who just like.
And that's what I like. I like when people are really down to earth and keep it real. And I genuinely enjoyed my time talking to you today, Gary. I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. And everybody out there, I want you guys to check out Gary. Gary, give them how can people reach out to you? How do you like when how would you prefer your fans to kind of check out you and your stuff?
Okay, I mean, you've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. All of my social media is at Gary A. Wales. My Facebook and Instagram does have a check mark next to it, so you know that's me. Unfortunately, Twitter, we're working on it. We're trying. We're trying. Twitter, where you at? Like, we need this contact. I'm waiting on a contact from someone, but we're getting there. But Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the Snapchat is at Gary A. Wales. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/user/Gary Wales Actor. If you just type in Gary Wales into YouTube, you'll see the channel. Quite a lot of my stuff's on there. And then obviously you've got your IMDb, Wikipedia, all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, everybody, I want to thank Gary for coming on. I really enjoyed this. I'm really looking forward to all his projects that are coming out. Love all the stuff that you're doing. I'm totally bought in. So, guys, check out Gary, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe to his YouTube channel so you can stay on top of everything that Gary's coming out with. And Gary, once again, thank you for being on the Unnormalized podcast.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. Everybody, that's the show for today. And thank you for tuning in with me and Gary. And stay unnormalized.